Now, speaking about movies on the flip side that are not necessarily 8 out of 10 movies, we come to a 1980 flick titled Cardiac Arrest. You may have seen the poster for this one. It's in my opinion, it's a pretty striking poster with a doctor holding out a heart. It's a fantastic poster, and many people have wanted to see the movie based off it. In the movie, this is a sort of a serial killer going around cutting people's hearts out. And throughout the movie, there's a police investigation trying to catch this individual. And we find out some new clues, and they chase leads, and we found out some more things. And there's a subplot with a woman who needs a heart transplant because of a congenital heart disorder. And it sort of gets tied into it. Is there maybe a black market thing going on for hearts, or is it just some ritualistic killing? It asks questions, and by the end of the movie, of course, we find out what's going on, if you can keep track of all the names. It's a very horror-light movie. There's certainly some slasher elements in it, but if you go in expecting something like My Bloody Valentine or Horror Hospital, you're just not going to be happy with what you see. In many ways, it feels a lot more like a 70s crime movie than it does anything like an actual slasher movie. And I think many people who see it feel the same way, which is why it's not necessarily highly rated by those who have rated it. What were your takes on this one, Tracker?
Yeah, well, that poster lied to us hardcore. I mean, I'm sitting right next to it. I've got a printer right next to me, and I'm considering smashing it just thinking about that poster.
You have to ask how much money they made from the advertising, though.
I'm sure Amazon Prime's getting a decent amount of views from it.
Yeah, 2 of them one last week was mine, but...
At least they start the movie. I doubt many people had actually finished the movie.
I didn't want to, but I did.
Yeah, so with me. Half an hour, 40 minutes in, 60 minutes in, you're like, okay, is something going to happen? Yeah, it's just a really dull movie. Like I said, it's more like a 70s crime movie, but it's still not even interesting, even if it was a 70s crime movie. To me, it makes me think of those like midday soap operas, and not that I ever watch Matlock, but something like that probably is more enjoyable than watching this movie, even to a horror fan.
Yeah, because at least I would suspect at least those shows are somewhat snappy. This one was very, it was tedious, and the characters weren't really all that interesting. There was a lot of great dialogue going on. But admittedly, there was one line somewhat early on in the movie that made me laugh, when they find some smudged fingerprints, and character says, well, the only thing we learn about this is that the guy has fingers. So that line got me chuckling, but otherwise, I just thought this movie was pretty dry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw the movie, months ago, and I certainly wasn't going to watch it again, but, so maybe I'm not remembering some of the details, but there was like a scene earlier in the movie where this detective, he's just like contaminating the crime scene, just picking things up.
That's like one of the worst detectives I've ever seen.
Yeah, and as you go through the movie, he's got his share of quirks, and I don't know, they try to make him interesting, but he's just like the movie, he's quite dull in the end.
So are you saying that if they made a TV series based off this character, you would not watch it?
No way. If I can't watch one movie, how am I going to watch a whole season? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, outside of just a small chase scene, literally in the last, 2 minutes of the movie, there's really nothing thrilling or all that much entertaining about the movie. It's, like I said, that poster lied to us. We're led to believe we're going to either see some slasher action, or we're going to see maybe a little bit of blood and gore, something. We get nothing.
Yeah, and so, some backstory for me. This is a movie I've wanted to see for at least 6 years. When I first became like a, really big horror fan, I made a list of about 160 or so movies I wanted to see, and this was on that list. So, flash forward, 7-8 years, finally seeing it is, such a disappointment. I had heard from multiple people, including Chucky, that the movie wasn't that great, but I was just holding out hope, just a little hope that it might be okay. But after finally seeing it, much like Chucky says, it's a very dull, very dry movie. It's just tedious to get through. And if you're looking for something more like, just a early 80s slasher, this is not going to be your type of thing. And in fact, I'm somewhat hard pressed to think about whose type of thing this would be.
Yeah. I mean, I was going into it expecting something that would rival maybe, X-Ray, or I think it's called Hospital Massacre. I think that's the alternate title.
No, honestly, it's not great, but I think it's an okay movie. It's just a low-budget slasher from the early 80s. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying X-Ray's, one of those great movies, but at least something similar to that level of thrills, or, a slasher-type movie like that.
Yeah, it actually makes me ask a question. Who comes out of this movie feeling satisfied? Like, gung-ho, ton of ton. I just don't see it. If somebody out there listening is like a really big fan of Cardiac Arrest, just let me know why.
They may have a fear of cyberbullying.
But see, it's also interesting. This movie isn't that well known. It's probably, I would argue that Baby Blues is probably more well known than this one is. That maybe just because it's newer. But I definitely don't see many people talking about this, and it's understandable why. But even when you bring it up, there's not a whole lot of people who have seen this one. Which is, well, also understandably why.
Those lucky people.
Yeah, I know. Like, with thousands and thousands of horror movies, we watched this. We are living the life.
I want my time back.
Yeah, I'll say this much. If you are into really dry procedural police movies of the 70s, you can give this a look, and it might be your type of thing. Very few portions of the movie did it for me. There's just way too much drama. I don't know, it's just a tedious movie. And I keep saying that because it's true. I gave this one, and this might actually be a generous rating, but I'm going to stick with it. I gave this one a 5 out of 10, which is quite below average for me. But there were a few things I liked about it, but overall the movie was definitely not what I was hoping for.
Well, I give the movie a 3 out of 10, and I could have gone lower, and I'm sure a lot of other people would go lower, but My thing is, I mean, I've seen the shittest of the shit, and sometimes I think a lot of people haven't, and if people out there think this is the worst movie, or, a 1 out of 10 movie, I think they need to go watch a lot of other movies that look like they were shot with a home video camera. How terrible some of those not only look, but how terrible some of those are scripted and shot. Yeah, Cardiac Arrest, very dull movie. The poster lies to us. It's just got nothing satisfying for a horror fan. And that's really all I have to say about it.